Naval Base Anubis, Naval Station, Great Lakes, North Chicago, Illinois. Okay. Manwolf witnesses, as they report their encounters, often resort to comparisons of known cultural figures to help describe what they saw. One familiar image surfaces time and again: Anubis, a creature resembling the tall-eared, long-snouted Anubis has been reported in some very unlikely places. But the strangest location of all was a sighting made by three military personnel at the Great Lakes Naval Base north of Chicago. So I think she
Mhm.
mentions this story in smaller details in the book we just finished, but here's
Yeah.
with more details. So it's nice cross-referencing slash paralleling, story for the
Hmm.
end of this episode.
Yeah.
The 1628-acre naval station, Great Lakes, lies close to the shore of Lake Michigan, within an easy trot of the Illinois State Beach Park and other green spaces, including some just to the north in southeastern Wisconsin. The base itself includes the Great Lakes Naval Hospital and the Old Naval Hospital Cemetery. Emma, the witness who wrote me, was on base guard duty one cold night in September 1994 with two male guards, Jim and John. I remember these guys. A member of the Navajo Nation, John is now her husband. The three were assigned to shore patrol, which she said mostly meant carrying big flashlights. Okay, we didn't know this from before. And looking for recruits engaged in amorous, how do you pronounce this?
Amorous.
And amorous activities in the woods. She admitted that they had sometimes played pranks on each other, such as leaving a radio set to broadcast static in the base cemetery. Man, I like these pranks, but sometimes they can be too much, right? Especially if it's late at night.
Yeah.
But said there was no fooling around on this particular evening. That night started out normally. That's how it always starts in every movie, in every story, in every book. It always starts normal.
Yeah.
Like everything is
Always
everything is
starts
like
normal.
just like every other day, right?
That's right.
But things began to get strange around 3 a.m. Emma was patrolling the shore path in this so-called witching hour. Jim was near the hospital, and John was at a spot on the other side of the breakers. Emma and John had been bantering via radio all evening when suddenly he stopped answering. Alarmed, Emma hurried to the end of the shore path where she saw the 6'3" John shaking and his mouth agape as he stared at the woods. Emma trained her flashlight on the trees, expecting to see some kind of animal, such as a bear or fox. I don't think he'll be shaking at fox, but okay. But instead saw a creature that stood taller than John, standing on its hind legs and staring at them. Emma radioed Jim to get his, I don't know if I should pronounce this word, but let's say his butt over here, as John numbly repeated the term skinwalker, which is what the Navajo, right, the Navajo Indians and some other tribes call medicine men, who are able to assume the appearance of an animal, usually the malevolent purposes. Okay, never heard about this expression, medicine man, right?
Oh, yeah. Medicine Man is basically a shaman in Native
Oh, I see.
American tribalism.
Okay, thanks. Emma said she remembered the animal as resembling the Anubis character in a 1997 TV cartoon show called Mummies Alive. She added that it reminded her of a big man with an odd, dog like head that had tall, upright ears and greeny yellow eyes. It was covered in dark, yellowish gray, sharpish fur, and she could see the long forelimbs but not the paws. It was definitely not a bear or any other animal she knew of, said Emma. And though she felt that it was physically present, she could not see the creature's breath in the cold. although she could
Mm.
see her own. Oh my gosh. And this is definitely, at least partially, a spiritual entity, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if it's called every animal, every human being, you can see their breath in the call. Okay.
Right.
I got no impression that it was spiritual, she said. Well, I did. And although Emma was raised in New Jersey's Pine Barrens area, which is famed for its weird flying cryptid called the Jersey Devil, that creature never entered her mind as she gawked at the unknown thing at the edge of the woods. The stare down stopped when Jean came running toward John and Emma's position. The creature seemed a bit startled, Emma said, describing its reaction thus. The thing looked over, puffed up kind of like a cat, and took off, but more upright than on all fours. That's interesting.
Hmm.
I find the observation that it puffed up kind of like a cat interesting in light of the Doberman Lynx reports from California. I never heard about that. That's even more insane. Doberman Lynx reports. Like,
Yeah, I
how
haven't
are
heard
you
that either.
related? Like, Lynx is a wildcat, Doberman is a dog. That's insane. But Emma, John, and Jim saw the creature only from the rear as it departed. Dooley filed reports on the strange beast and then suffered the usual harassment from fellow shipmates. Yeah, he was ridiculed. Yeah.
Hmm.
Emma said that the hair still stands up on her arms when she thinks about the creature and that John maintains to this day that it was a skinwalker. I also couldn't help noticing that the sighting was in the direct vicinity of a seminary, which not only is often a part of a sighting's surroundings, but also relates to Anubis and his role as a guide and protector of the abode of the dead.
Okay, there we
Okay,
go.
yes, we got more connections. Some might cast a suspicious eye at the large military hospital as well, in regard to the previously mentioned idea of human alien hybrids, and wonder if the creature was an escapee from some extraterrestrial breeding program. Okay, this is too much sci-fi for me. I love it from one point, but from other point, I'm like, I don't think that's super credible, but whatever. It
Yeah.
is true that the base has also been the site of UFO reports. One described in a 2008 issue of UFO magazine involved the 12-year-old child of an officer who was living on the base in 1963. The boy was playing outdoors with his siblings when the group saw a huge saucer shaped craft with spinning lights on the underside descending levelly and silently. They watched for between 5 and 10 minutes as it slowly landed in a patch of woods across the street from their quarters. The writer said he wanted to run and see it, but it was gripped by the feeling that if he did, he might not come back. It's a
Hmm.
good gut feeling. Always listen to that. Even though
Hmm.
I can't say I always listen to that, but added to the creature sightings, this type of activity suggests the base may be located in another of those paranormal window areas. But on behalf of those who argue that this creature is a natural wolf adapted to walk upright, who would claim that? That's pure nonsense. I
Yeah.
must point out that this area along Chicago's shoreline follows what looks like a Great Lake migratory path when all the known sightings are mapped out. Yeah, there is also this so-called Lake Michigan or Chicago Mothman, and I tried
Hmm.
to get in touch with the guys who made this documentary, and
Hmm.
they never responded. They're not Christians, but I wouldn't care so much. I just wanted to have them on the podcast for an episode, and I hope one day I'll get
Hmm.
in touch with them.
Hmm.
The big
Yeah.
beast may have been just passing through on its way to Oklahoma, Alabama, or Amazon Jersey Pine Barrens. Whatever it was, three naval base guards make very credible witnesses in my view, especially since they were willing to file official reports with full knowledge of the raising, or I don't know how to pronounce this.
Razzing, like
Raising,
yeah, basically
scolding,
make
ridicule.
making fun of, ridiculing,
Right.
probably. Yeah,
So with the full knowledge of the raising that would and and
ensue or come to
ensue.
pass. Yeah,
Okay. Wow. Again, I love the details that they provide because it makes the story more
yeah,
credible. And now we're giving more details than the first time we read. It wasn't a prank. It it involved three soldiers. Um, the context is given when it comes to Anubis as the guardian and the cemetery. We see so many similarities.